Google Ads can be insanely profitable for businesses of any size when you set them up properly. I mean, if people are actively searching for what you do, why wouldn't you want to show up right at that moment? So in this video, I'm going to go over 7 really smart optimization tips that'll help you entice more of the right kind of clicks, the ones from people who are actually willing and able to spend money with you, and weed out the bad clicks that are basically dead ends that you still have to pay for. We can definitely do better, and here we go. All right, you're here for some Google ad tips, things that'll help you spend your ad budget smarter and attract the right people at the right time when they're actually looking for you. So let's get on with the list. These are 7 things that smart businesses have been doing, and it's why they continue spending that Google money, because it brings in way more than they're spending. Okay, so the first tip I have for you is to write your ad titles and descriptions with intent to basically entice the right people and repel the wrong ones. So how can you do that in such a small amount of space? Well, most businesses that use Google Ads get this completely wrong. They pretty much just address the facts. Their location, what they sell, or what service they offer. And they also might throw out some cliches that basically mean pretty much nothing in 2021. Words like award-winning or high quality and since 1996, right? These things are just so overused that people basically just gloss right over them at this point. So you want to pivot hard on what they're doing, and instead you want to address an objection or two head on. So in other words, what are the 3 biggest hesitations people have about working with or buying from you, or anyone else in your industry for that matter? So I want you to decide on the biggest 1 or 2 and address them using the space you have in your headline and your description. So you also want to think about who your best customers are and who's not a good fit for you. So let's say you're a photo booth rental company and you may not be the cheapest option out there, but as long as you offer a better experience or better level of service, something that justifies that higher price tag, you want to call attention to that. So be specific about what they're getting that's above and beyond, and you want to call out your pricing, believe it or not. So this is going to make you a more appealing option to your customers who want that higher level experience and have no problem paying for it. And it'll also stop quite a few of your more budget conscious browsers from clicking through it all, meaning you don't have to pay for their window shopping. And if you're thinking, but I still want them to come to the website where I can talk them into paying more, that's completely up to you, and maybe you or your website are a really good salesperson, but in general, you're going to be much more successful and profitable when you market to only those people who are more likely to convert. Okay, so we're still talking about our ads themselves now, and another tip I have for you is to create separate ads for your different keyword phrases and then match each ad's wording to that keyword exactly. So let's say you're a contracting company, all right, and you want to use Google Ads for a handful of terms related to kitchen remodeling. So your list might include phrases like kitchen remodel, new countertops, and backsplash installation. So what you wouldn't want to do is just to create one all-purpose ad to handle all of those searches. What you want to do instead is create a separate ad for each phrase that's super specific to the phrase that they searched for. So this just makes for a really seamless experience, and they'll have more confidence that clicking through to your site is going to give them exactly what they were looking for. Okay, so this next optimization tip really builds on the last one. So you want to continue that seamless experience all the way through to your landing page as well. So if someone types in backsplash installation in Google and your ad is specifically geared toward backsplash installation and even uses that phrase exactly in its title, you don't want to then send them to a page on your site that's just about kitchen remodeling in general, or God forbid your homepage. You don't want to do that. So what you want to do instead is create a dedicated landing page that focuses on backsplash installation. And that page will give them all the info they need to make an informed decision. And ideally, it would overcome some common objections, list out the 3 benefits of choosing you over anyone else. And of course, it would, in this case of a kitchen remodeler, it would have photos of the amazing work and all that stuff. But above all else, it needs to make it crystal clear how they can get started if they like what they see. So you want to use a big, bold call to action button that takes them to a form, or tell them explicitly to call this number, or include a calendar widget even that lets them schedule a consult right then and there. Because I can't tell you how many businesses spend big money on ads to bring people to pages that just aren't even set up for proper conversions. And that right there might be the biggest waste of ad spend I can think of. Okay, so if you're a local business, this tip is just for you. So showing up in the map pack on Google is hands down my favorite place for any business to show up. You can show off your reviews, and it's just a high attention placement, right? And it's actually kind of hard to show up here unless you're one of the 3 closest businesses to whoever's searching. That's still what it generally comes down to. But did you know that you can pay to show up here? It's true, and I actually like showing up here much better than in that ad space above, just because it looks a lot less like an ad over here. So the only thing you need to do is enable the location extension when you're setting up your ads. It's really just a simple toggle switch you click on, and then you're done. Now, whenever anyone's searching for your keywords and they're in the area you designate, you can show up right here. Okay, now this next tip's a really easy way to spend your budget much more wisely. So whenever you run multiple ads, you're gonna have some high performers, and quite frankly, you're gonna have some duds too. It's just part of the fun of online advertising, right? So rather than just spending your budget equally across all those ads that are all getting drastically different results, here's what you can do instead. Just identify the ones that are doing best, and then what you should do is consider increasing those budgets to the amount that Google recommends capping them out at. Now, their machine learning is really good, and they'll tell you something like, we predict you'll have this many clicks per day if you spend this amount. Then, because honestly, the extra budget has to come from somewhere, you can offset that cost by simply decreasing the budgets on some of your other ads that aren't doing as well. And you can even turn some off altogether if they're really underperforming. Some ads just need to be killed off, and that's all a part of it. Okay, but now we have a really important tip that so many smaller businesses overlook, and it can cost them big time, right? So while you definitely need to set up the keyword phrases that you want to be found for, it's equally, if not more important, to set up which keywords you don't want to be found for. So I'm talking here about using negative keyword lists. Imagine you're a weight loss coach, right? And you would naturally then want to come up in search when people type in weight loss coach. But the way that most searches work is any search that includes that phrase could potentially return your ad, including ones that also include other words or phrases attached to it. Things like weight loss coach salary or how to become a weight loss coach. So these searches do satisfy the objective on paper, right? Because they include the search term, but they obviously aren't people looking for a weight loss coach as much as they're people doing some research into becoming basically your competition. So unless you want to bankroll that research, put a negative keyword on it, right? Some common ones right out of the gate would be words like salary, jobs, careers, or even things like how to or DIY. And then from there, you want to closely monitor your search terms tab inside of the Google Ads console just to see the kinds of things that people are actually typing in. So what you want to do is look out for terms and phrases that don't quite seem like they're looking to spend money with you, and then just add those to your list. So now on the flip side of not wanting to spend money on people who aren't in the market for what you do, how about doubling down on the ones who are? Google does let you increase your bid or how much you're willing to pay for a click based on different audiences. And guess what? Google also knows, based on everybody's search history and what pages they visited, exactly who's currently in the market for what you have to offer. And all you really need to do then is create an audience of these people who are in market for whatever that thing is. And they have a ton of categories listed you can choose between, and these people are usually in serious consideration mode as opposed to just your more casual browsers that just started looking today. So if I were you, I would seriously consider increasing your bid using a bid adjustment for anyone who falls into that in-market audience, because they're just further along in the process and they're more likely to whip out that credit card. And you can also consider doing this for people who have already visited your website, which is a pretty good bet too, because those previous site visitors are definitely much warmer traffic. And I would always be more willing to spend more money on a warmed up audience than on a colder one. But before you can do any of this, you do need your list of keyword phrases that you want to go after. And I have a video that's going to help you out there. So just click right up here for my favorite free way of finding your most profitable keywords. You're not going to want to miss any of the tips in there. So click right here and we'll find them together. See you there.